Very happy to have today hosting this lunch and learn Dan from Klaviyo. Klaviyo, I want to say, is one of those companies that needs no introduction, but just in case you're not familiar with them, they've pretty much been the gold standard for e-commerce email marketing for quite some time now. I want to kind of almost compare them to the same niche that MailChimp, circled for themselves in terms of email marketing. Generally, that's what Klaviyo has done in my head in the e-commerce space. Every other company just tries to compare themselves to Klaviyo, and they do email marketing, they do SMS, and just going through their materials, you could really quickly get a sense of why they are number one. From our team, Ashley has already become Klaviyo certified, and we have many mutual clients with Klaviyo. So I'm very excited to introduce it to everyone else here who hasn't been introduced yet. So with that said, Dan, can you take it away?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you, Mike. And yeah, very excited to be kicking off this partnership with you guys and covering everything we have here today. For these lunch and learns, I typically like to start from scratch under the assumption that you guys have never heard of Klaviyo before, and start with like our founder story, what we are, who we serve, and who we're the best fit for. But as we go on, I have our demo account ready to go. I have some partner onboarding guides ready to go, your partner training, so we can cover a wide range of topics. And of course, I'm happy to keep this conversational. So as you guys have questions, as you guys have topics you want to chat about, use cases, anything that comes to mind, don't hesitate to speak up, interrupt me right in the chat. I want to make this time as productive as possible for you guys and cover the things that are most important to you. So as things come up, don't hesitate to reach out. But yeah, without further ado, I'll go ahead and present my screen here. And we can cover some of the things I have for you. I have a quick PowerPoint presentation that should only take about 20 minutes or so. And then we can hop into a bunch of different other topics from there. I'll show you guys what partner tools you have access to, and so on and so forth. But to get started, just as like a brief agenda, essentially go over introductions. What is Klaviyo? This presentation, I think, tells our story really well and highlights like why a lot of customers choose Klaviyo so that you guys can get an understanding. But it is geared towards how we teach agencies how to sell Klaviyo. So understand, I'm trying to teach you like the unique positioning statements that our sales reps use when we're talking to prospects and clients. I think it's really important for our agency partners to see that perspective, just to understand where we try to like add value to prospects and customers there. This may be a bit of a refresher to Ashley because she already took the training, but the webinar recording similar to this is in our partner portal. It's in our partner training, and we can get all you access to this as well. And I'll make sure that you guys have a copy of this deck after today's call. And then in addition to that, we do have a partner Slack channel. So after today's call, if any of you guys want to be added to any of our partner resources, we can add you to the portal, we can add you to Slack, and we can add you to the training so you guys can all access that as well. But to go ahead and get started, what is Klaviyo? So Klaviyo is a marketing automation platform built for growth-focused e-commerce brands that want to connect, acquire new customers, and create great personalized experiences for them. To understand where we come from, I think it's important to understand our founder story. So this is Andrew Bielecki. He's our founder and CEO. He founded Klaviyo back in 2012. And prior to founding Klaviyo, he was working as a consultant, and he was tasked with the project of going to these Fortune 500 companies and solving really complex problems for them. Like, for example, Walmart asked his company to be like, can you tell us if it would be profitable for us to start adding grocery to our Walmart supercenters? And if so, which stores would be the most profitable? Or Starbucks would ask, how many stores can we put in 1 square mile in New York City before we start seeing diminishing returns, right? And he realized as he was trying to go out and solve these problems is that they had data all over the place, and they had no system that could collect and analyze all this data that would allow them to go out and make these decisions. So in comes Klaviyo, and he founded it with the point to be able to ingest a lot of data and then allow marketers to go out and make decisions off of that data. And prior to founding Klaviyo, he realized that you really had like 1 or 2 options when you were trying to do this for any type of company that you were servicing. There was the MailChimps, right? The lower sophisticated platforms that were really good for just like sending email, but very limited in terms of functionality, what type of data you could do, and really non-existent support. You were off on your own to get things set up and get going there. And then there were the Salesforce marketing clouds of the world, the Responsys, the IBM Silverpop, these big enterprise platforms that were really clunky. They took engineering teams to set up and install and maintain, and it was very difficult, expensive, lengthy projects, and so on. And so we realized that there was a gap in the market. And so we built Klaviyo to fit right in the middle, a platform that is built to easily ingest a lot of data and then allow you to go out and do sophisticated different types of automations and segmentation so you can go and make data-informed marketing decisions and act on it. And one of the things we say is that marketing software wasn't built to ingest and analyze all of your customer data and provide you with a way to act on it until Klaviyo was founded. So understanding where we come from and the problems we're trying to solve is important, because what we want to be able to do is allow e-commerce merchants to solve problems that they didn't even know were problems, right? Like, can I understand where in the country are my most valuable customers, or what type of customer lifetime value segment targets these specific products, right? We are allowing people to go out and understand their data, act on it in the same day, and make those decisions that are going to drive growth for their brands. So you may have heard like similar founding stories like that from other competitors, other partners you guys have. And so again, I'm going to keep trying to make you guys realize why Klaviyo is unique and understand the differences in that. And so saying all that is good and great, but what does Klaviyo stand for? And a few of those things that we stand for and what we constantly try to improve on our product and make our customers realize is that we want you to leave the tough stuff for us. So what we mean by that is that we have really easy and simple e-commerce integrations. So there's really no coding required. There's no data mapping required. You simply can just get access to the data you own on your customers and get that uploaded in the Klaviyo quickly and easily. Idea to execution in the same day. We want you guys to be able to have an idea like, hey, I want to go target my most valuable customers, or I want to create a pop-up that's targeting only my VIP customers. You should be able to have that idea, go into Klaviyo, run a few segments, do a few tests, and be able to execute on that same idea in the same day, because the platform is really fast. It's really easy to use. It's really intuitive that way. Another thing we mentioned is a frictionless buying experience. So one of the reasons why Klaviyo has been able to grow so fast in just the 2 years that I've been at Klaviyo, we've gone from 10,000 to 60,000 customers, is that we make our buying experience really simple and easy. We have plenty of customers that self-serve. So they buy Klaviyo without even talking to an agency, without even talking to Klaviyo before upgrading and paying. They just create the free account and they go. But we do month-to-month contracts simply based on the number of subscribers you want to send to, with no add-on fees, no service fees, no integration fees, nothing like that. Simply the price that's listed on a website, the price you see in the account is the price you pay. And so we want to take the burden of that buying process off of you and make that super transparent, super simple and easy. Before I get into breaking down each topic and so on there, does anybody have any questions so far? Anything that I've mentioned that was particularly interesting?
Not at the moment.
I have a question, Dan, actually. You mentioned just in your example that you could do pop-ups to a certain segment of customers. Mm-hmm. From my limited knowledge of Klaviyo was that you guys do email and SMS. Is it that Klaviyo just provides the data for that and then like the pop-up technology somewhere else? Or inside Klaviyo, you could also, kind of like WYSIWYG a pop-up?
Yeah, natively in the platform is a pop-up builder. So you can connect your existing sign-up forms from your website to Klaviyo. And then we have the ability to do pop-ups and flyouts. And you can A/B test them. They're really dynamic. So you can create a segment and target only that segment with a Klaviyo pop-up that you built and designed in Klaviyo. And you can do exit intent, full page takeovers, loading delays, all different types of different features with that. But that's natively in the platform. We released pop-ups about 2 years ago in the platform, but it's the same type of functionality you would expect out of a tool like Justuno or Privy or Typeform or something like that.
And there's no extra cost to that, right? The costs are simply based on your number of contacts. So whether you use the pop-up or not, nothing extra?
Right, yeah. Klaviyo will never charge you for additional features. We have 2 SKUs at Klaviyo, your subscription fee for email and pay as you go for SMS, and that's it. Every time we release a new feature, It's just uploaded into your account automatically. You do not need to pay. You'll never have a paywall with us.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good question. And when I have the demo account, so we can show you that tool after we go through this deck. Perfect. Well, so diving into a little bit deeper on the leave the tough stuff to us. Again, a reason why a lot of customers choose us and something we highlight to our prospects and customers and agency partners alike is that with Klaviyo, we have a really fast platform that really doesn't require much coding at all unless you're trying to do custom use cases, right? And so with that, you don't need developers to set up and install and create an account. We have no data storage processing limits, right? And there's no data mapping you need to do to get it to work. We simply integrate really cleanly and easily with those e-commerce platforms, and we'll map out all the data in your profiles for you so that you can focus on the segmentation, understanding who your customers are, and really focus on the marketing type of work that you're trying to do and making sure you're helping your clients grow. When we talk about idea to execution in the same day, again, we're trying to make things easy for you. So if you're using any one of our commonly used e-commerce platforms, Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, and soon to be PrestaShop in 2021, your account will be preloaded with pre-built flows and automations and segments and templates and different types of features alike, as well as pre-built pop-ups. And so again, we're trying to allow you to be like, hey, I have an idea. I want to do like a win-back flow, right? Well, you can just go into the browse ideas section of the platform and it's already there for you. The triggers are set up. The tough part on your end is to create that content, the email template, and upload it to that segment and get going from there. Other things like I want to understand my customer lifetime value, or I want to do like churn risk predictions. Which of my customers are most likely to churn? Klaviyo's running those calculations in the back end for you. It's already there. You have that data automatically once you integrate with us. And so you can use that in your segmentation to understand your customers a bit more and then go out and act on it if you want to send a campaign to a specific segment using these different types of data sets there. And then coming back to our frictionless buying experience, with Klaviyo, you can always create a free Klaviyo account. You can integrate Shopify. You can migrate your contacts from MailChimp, Campaign Monitor, your previous ESP. You can load as much data into Klaviyo as well as go out and build your pop-ups. You can build your flows, your segments, your email templates. You can do all that in a free account, and your free account never expires before you need to upgrade and pay. You only need to upgrade and pay when you're ready to start sending emails. So it's a huge benefit for your clients when they are considering transitions and migrations. They're like, well, I don't want to spend all this time and have a gap in my sending or have this transition period where we might not be marketing to our customers. Klaviyo makes it really easy for you to get everything ready and set up and good to go before canceling your previous platform, so that when you want to get started, everything's ready to start sending and you can get going right away. And then in addition to that, you do get some free emails. So if you're working with some smaller clients that may not be triggering too many automations or may not have a massive list to send to early on, you can send campaigns or you can set up a welcome series and abandoned cart and try out Klaviyo before you need to upgrade and see if it's working for you. And then to my point earlier, we have no surprise line items. We have 2 SKUs. That's it. You'll never need to pay for additional support, additional features, or anything like that. And we give you 12 chances a year to fire us if we're not performing. It's all month to month, no contract. We'll never lock you into anything like that as well. So again, we need to constantly be adding value to your business, to your client's business, to make sure that we are doing a good job there. Before I move on, those are some 3 key elements of what we stand for. Guys, have any questions on those topics or anything of that nature? Okay, great. So understanding why we're different. When I go over the platform and when we think about Klaviyo, it comes down to these 3 core elements: speed, e-com expertise, and scale. So again, this may be beating a dead horse. I've talked about this a lot already, but speed. We've built Klaviyo really to be infinitely scalable, right? And so part of that process is making it so that it's really fast, it's really easy to use. In order to get the best product adoption, we want you guys to be able to click around in the account really quickly and easily without any processing delays, without any loading delays. So we've coded our platform really well to be able to handle that and work quickly. So you can run a segment. If you have 1 million contacts in your database, you can run a segment and encompassing all those people in less than a minute, right? So you can run that segment and understand it in less than a minute, whereas some enterprise platforms that we compete against, it can take days to run segments like that and so on. In addition to that, you can upload and ingest data into Klaviyo super fast. There's no SQL database, so really you just need to map out that file and load it into Klaviyo. And then we also have super flexible APIs that can process data in real time and do real-time triggering, right? So if someone goes active on your website, that's immediately fed into the Klaviyo platform. If someone clicks or views a product, again, immediately fed into Klaviyo, and you can have automation set up that run to go out and retarget those different types of subscribers. As you see, we have a bunch of e-commerce platforms listed here that are those pre-built integrations that allow you to get up and running quickly and easily. And as I mentioned, PrestaShop is the next one that's going to be added to the list. And they're a really fast-growing e-commerce platform in Europe and as well as in South America. When we talk about our focus on e-commerce, as Mike mentioned earlier on the call, Klaviyo was built from the ground up for e-commerce brands, designed to help them grow. So everything you will see in the platform, like pop-ups, like segmentation, like automations, we're always just trying to allow these brands understand who their customers are so that they can retarget them with more personalized messaging, drive more conversions, get more loyal customers, and really grow their brands from there and take advantage of a really valuable resource that they have, which is their customer data, and get the most out of their email and SMS channels, which we see, driving 30 to 40% of total revenue for a lot of brands on our platform. With that, we have some really commerce-specific tools that are focused towards those brands, like product catalogs. When you integrate your e-commerce integration with Klaviyo, we're going to pull in your entire product catalog down to the variant level. So you can create a segment of all people that have ever purchased a sandal in a specific size or a specific color. You can get down to that variant level detail if you want to. In addition to that, we have coupons, e-commerce integrations. And then one of the more valuable things that you guys have access to is the people at Klaviyo. We come at no extra charge to you. There's a partnerships team where we'll be communicated to myself. We also have a success team, a growth team, an engineering team, a sales team, all available to our partners to work on different types of activities with you guys when you are trying to be successful with the clients on our platform. And then when we think about scale, I wish I had a better slide to show you to highlight the Black Friday, Cyber Monday metrics we did this year, but I haven't got one from our marketing team yet. But on average with Klaviyo, customers see a 62x ROI. So for every $100 they spend with us, there's an implied ROI of $6,200 there. And the story between us and competitors is that you're able to achieve that ROI much faster on Klaviyo than you can on other platforms because everything is ready to go for you guys. The only thing slowing you down is how quickly can you build those email templates and start getting them out. And then in addition to that, on average, customers see a 29% lift in revenue within the first 6 months of making the migration to Klaviyo. Again, coming back to how quickly and easily you can get set up on our platform, and then how fast the platform works to get those flows going, to get everything else set up there. Of the revenue you're generating on Klaviyo, you should be seeing 35% of that from flows, from automations. So again, once you have those automations set up, overnight, all day long, it's just generating revenue for you guys, and then you can tweak it. You can A/B test and get more out of it from there on out. To speak to scale as well, we've been able to grow 50,000 customers in just under 2 years, which is really impressive. And we have a less than 1% churn by accounts managed by our agency partners. So we're helping a lot of brands grow really quickly with Klaviyo. In addition to that, over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, we helped generate $917 million of revenue for our customers in just that one weekend, which equates to about 3% of all Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. So we're pretty proud of the fact that we were able to help so many merchants generate a lot of revenue. Comparing that to 2019, we were responsible for about 1.5% of all Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. And so we were able to double in just a year under that. In addition to that, we sent over 4.4 billion emails over that week. And so our platform works really well, and it can handle the busiest time of the year. All right, so understanding the competitive landscape with Klaviyo, where we fit in, coming back to my point earlier where there was two types of softwares, we really do fit in the middle nicely, and we can do a lot of things that both platforms do, right? So there's those lightweight softwares where you can just start using them right away. You can get set up quickly and easily. But then in addition to that, we do the things like those enterprise software does, where we have a really flexible data model. We can do a lot with that data and ingest a lot of that data at the variant level. And so when you think about Klaviyo, you can think of us as an easy to use enterprise grade platform where you're not sacrificing that easy use. You're not sacrificing that functionality. It really is a great platform that speaks for itself once you have it integrated and up and running there. To understand that a bit more, obviously we're biased. We're going to put us at the top right-hand corner of this chart. But here we see a list of our competitors that we're going up against often. And again, we are super commerce focused, right? And then we also have a lot of data flexibility. Not a lot of platforms are able to mimic that. They either have one or the other, which is why customers will go with them. Klaviyo can do both, and that's why we're really growing quickly, and a lot of people prefer to use us. All right, this next section is how to sell Klaviyo, but a lot of that comes to what I've already shared. I think this would be better to chat about down the road, or if you guys ever have a demo with one of our sales reps, you can kind of get the idea of what we're doing. We're doing discoveries. It's either value or service-led discoveries, and then we're trying to make the business case and position Klaviyo's strength to what their needs are in the business. What I would like to do with the rest of the time on this call is actually answer any questions that you guys have in terms of the platform, so we can go through our demo account, and then of course show you some of the resources you get access to as partners, so that we can make sure you guys are getting the most of the tools there. But for the rest of this call, I'd like to focus on the product. And so I'd love to hear some of the things that you guys are eager to see, whether if you're unsure of whether or not Klaviyo can do, anything that I mentioned on the call that or in the content that you guys would like to see out of the platform. If you have any ideas of specific features or tools or use cases you'd like to see, I'd love to hear them so we could cover that right off the bat.
I'll get started with one, or potentially one, I'm not sure. We have a few clients, Dan, that sell products kind of like one-off, not necessarily, no, you know, when you talk about like fashion, it's like, okay, you know, you could have repeat purchases like, I don't know, every week for years, right? But say we have a few stores that are auto parts specific, and this is an auto part that, hey, if this thing in your car breaks, you go ahead and you order this one part, and really you don't touch this site again until it breaks again. Would Klaviyo have any features to help with an e-commerce site selling non-frequent purchases like that?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
if so, you could show it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the benefit of our month-to-month pricing model there is that with customers who have, like, someone may buy a product from them once and then you won't hear from them for 2 years, right? So with Klaviyo, you can clean up your list over and over again. So as people go on your website, as they become subscribers, I think it would be really important for those types of customers to have a great welcome series, a great abandoned cart, and a great browse abandonment, and then a customer win-back flow. Those types of flows will encompass all those different features, but you can have you can upgrade to a plan, make sure you're getting all your subscribers, getting them into your flows, and then during their busy cycles, you can upgrade to a higher plan to target all of their customers, and then you can suppress profiles and downgrade to a lower plan when you aren't targeting those customers specifically. So I guess to take a look at what that would look like in the platform, it would be really important to have a great and engaging pop-up so that you're capturing that site traffic, right? You're getting all subscribers. So if we look at sign-up forms here, and actually our Shopify demo account is a mess. So I'm going to go to our WooCommerce one. It's all going to work the same way, but some account executives don't clean up after themselves. So if we look at sign-up forms, for that type of customer, it would be really important to have a sign-up form here, right? So as I mentioned, we have all these pre-built ones, but then you can create one from scratch. You can make sure that you add these folks to your monthly newsletter, right? And so anybody that signs up is going to go to your monthly newsletter. For like an auto parts store, you can drag and drop an image, or you can make the background an image. Some people make it the shape of a car, and they're asking for like that their email, their SMS, whatever it may be. You can ask like additional inputs, right? So you can ask them what type of car they have or anything like that, and get those different inputs as well. And then you can segment those customers based off of it. But the point being is that for that type of use case, it's really important that you have pop-ups, that you have lead generation forms, so that you can get people in the funnel. And then from there, you should have a really good built out welcome series, right? Probably 4 or 5 steps long to get them to make that purchase, because the name of the game is getting these people that are one-time customers in that cycle. And you should also have that abandoned cart and browse abandonment flow. All those things are really easy to set up with Klaviyo, right? So we have the 3 here that are all built out, ready to go as live. But if you want to go into browse ideas, you can see abandoned cart, browse, and welcome series, all pre-built, ready to go in the account. And then when they lapse, you can have customer win back. So if they make a purchase, but you don't hear from them in a while, you can have customer win back series in there. And so as you're collecting these subscribers, you're trying to get the most out of them in that first month. But then if you don't hear from them in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they're not active on the site again, they're not opening or clicking your emails anymore, you can suppress them. When you suppress them, you no longer need to pay for them. And if they ever come back onto the website, they can go back into your email funnels. But if you suppress them, you're just no longer going to target them. You can downgrade to a cheaper account. And again, keep all that data, keep everything going there. But you don't need to constantly be emailing them, constantly be hammering emails with them, because you understand that they only buy a product every once in a blue moon.
Dan, is it data specific to people who've like purchased and made an account? So for example, say you do this pop-up and you ask for an email, right? And this guy hasn't bought yet. You know, he entered his email for a 10% off coupon, and then later he added his part to his e-com or like to his checkout, and then left. He never actually became a customer, but you did get his email from the news, from the pop-up. Does that guy qualify as abandoned cart flow, or they had to have had like given your email through creating an account?
Yeah, so that's why you see pop-ups on so many e-commerce brands' websites. That allows you to cookie that user, right? So when someone subscribes via email and subscribes to your marketing, they can now start receiving abandoned cart emails, browse abandonment emails, even if they don't make a purchase, right? And so that's why you see pop-ups and people trying to collect email addresses. It's not because they want to give you 10% off. It's because they want to be able to cookie your email address, so they know when you go back on the website, and they can drop you into these different types of automations and retarget you from there.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, and I guess we can dive into that a bit more, but like if we wanted to just create a segment, and if we wanted to look at if someone is or is not on a list and is in the monthly newsletter, right? And we can say what someone has or has not done. We can go placed order 0 times. We can create this segment. We'll see how long this takes to run. Sometimes my demo account is tricky with me. Give it a few more seconds there. Oh boy, love it when this decides not to work on a demo, right? But anyway, you can run a segment like this, and you can grab those profiles. And really all I want to do is allow this segment to run. Of course, nothing came up here. But what I wanted to look at was the profiles in here and show you what that type of data looks like. So essentially you can see someone like active on the website, viewed product, received email, like where are you going? So different types of automations here. But you can see that someone like subscribed to like the daily newsletter segment. They haven't placed an order. This person, if they were to add an item to their cart or view specific products, they could go into that abandoned cart flow or that browse abandonment flow. And then essentially the only data we have is like their first name and their email and like their consent status. But once they place orders, we'll get all their their address information, their zip code, so that you can then geolocate what that order was, right? So that we can start running some predictive analytics, their customer lifetime value, and things of that nature.
I assume that the answer is no to my next question, but when we run Google Ads pay-per-click, say we could segment, say by age group and by gender, etc. When we get that email, you don't have that type of data, right? You just have kind of like the email in the browser, or whatever browsement data. You don't have like an extra like, oh, we happen to know that this guy is a 30-year-old guy.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't get that email. We don't get that info unless you upload it to Klaviyo, or if you're collecting it via like a form in one way or another. But if you are collecting that data in a sign up form, it would go into a subscriber. Again, I'll just pull up a profile here, but it would go into a subscriber under the custom properties, and then you can segment based off of it. So if you do have that data from one way or another, you can create segments off of that. And so I just pull up this random profile because they've placed a lot of orders, right? This is one of our demo ones, but you would be able to see like birthday information, gender information. We actually do have, like, we'll do predictive gender. So if they're buying a bunch of products for females, or if their name is something like Sophie, we'll take a pretty educated guess that they're a female or a male. So we do those types of things, but things like age and demographics, we either need to collect that data or that you guys need to take educated guesses based off of like their browsing behavior or the products they buy.
So you could send an email to, the Klaviyo's educated, guess of females.
Yeah, exactly. So you can create a segment here. If we go to listen segments, you could say either properties about someone, and we may have that data in here as well. But then we also have gender. So this brand, we have that gender data, right? It's something they collect during that purchase. But if you go to predictive analytics, you can also do predicted gender. And so we could do predicted gender is likely male, female, or uncertain. So we're only going to drop someone into the likely female or likely male if we have 90% confidence, right?
Cool.
All right. And so, I guess I'd like to go back and talk a little bit about the predictive analytics in this, because for an agency, this is something that like the end customer either like doesn't understand it well enough, doesn't know how to take advantage of it, right? Or just doesn't have the time to dig into it. But with predictive analytics, we're really just trying to give you more data to be able to understand your customers better. So really valuable segments, and the reason why I use it as an example all the time, are being able to segment based off of customer lifetime value. We give you historic customer lifetime value as well as predicted, so that you guys can create a segment of all people that have spent $1,000 on your website in the past, 500, 300, 100, and understand those different types of customers and their progression to getting to those status. But then you can also take predictive customer lifetime value. So you can take people where you predict you're going to get an additional order of $100, $200, $300, $400, and so on. And then you also have things like churn risk prediction, so that you can retarget people that you think are likely to churn because you haven't heard from them in 6 or 7 months or so on. So another tool that you can use in your segmentation, and we run this in the background automatically. The only caveat to that is that you need to have at least 500 orders through your e-commerce platform in order for us to run this data, so that we can make sure it's statistically significant there. And then coming back to like the customer properties, the custom properties here in data, as you see, and something I haven't talked about too much, but we have a really robust like tech partnership program. So we integrate with a ton of tech partners across like loyalty platforms, review platforms, referral platforms, Facebook ad, Google Analytics is coming in 2021, and a bunch of different things. And so if you're using like Yapo, for example, does reviews. If you're using Yapo, we're going to pull that data in from them as well. So you can segment based off of people that are leaving reviews or drop them into automations. If you have loyalty points, we can use that as well to, be able to send your emails for your loyalty and rewards platforms via Klaviyo there too. Do you guys come across a bunch of other tech platforms that could integrate with Klaviyo that come off the top of your heads here?
So Dan, the ones we've done OneSurance for already integrated with Klaviyo. Being Akindo is our go-to for reviews. Recard you guys integrate with. Yeah.
Great.
A few others that slipped my mind, but I believe every single one integrates with Klaviyo.
Good. Yeah. So good question to ask your clients always, right? And then again, like just another way you can take advantage of it. If you guys are ever looking to learn more about like how to get the most out of that Okendo integration, I can always introduce you to my tech partnerships manager who, manages all these partnerships and understands how they work really well. And they can help you, take advantage of that stuff. All right, great. And so that's segmentation. We looked at sign-up forms a little bit. What I haven't showed you yet here is flows. So coming back to my point earlier is that We have a lot of pre-built stuff for flows. In terms of best practices with Klaviyo, the reason why we have these in our demo accounts is because the abandoned cart, the welcome series, the browse abandonment are the 3 best practice flows we want you guys to use. They get the best open rates, they get the best engagement, they drive the most revenue. And then from there, you can build on top of that and add different things to it to continue, growing accounts from there. But these are the ones that we want you to get started with right away. And as you can see here, like we'll just start the very simple, framework. Just when someone triggers off subscribing to the newsletter, we'll send them that email immediately. But it's really, really easy to build on top of these. And like my task for you as an agency is to add additional steps. Each one of your flows should have at least 3 to 4 steps so that you can continually engage new subscribers, as well as make sure that people are getting warmed up to your email list and you're doing right by your clients there. We definitely see welcome series flows going as long as like 9 to even 12 steps, right? The nice thing about Klaviyo is that you can see the individual performance for each individual flow. So obviously this isn't live yet, but the first step has 46 and 12, which is a really good open and click rate. Then you can see where you start to get diminishing returns. So you likely will see high open rates for the first few. For the last few, you may start to see them dwindling. And then you want to understand why that is. Are these people placing the orders and then no longer care about seeing the welcome series email? Are they just no longer interested in it? What type of content are we sending them? So that's when you can start A/B testing. You can add in like conditional splits as well based off of what people are doing. This is going to look exactly like our segmentation tool, right? And be able to, retarget customers or make them exit the flow and go somewhere else from there. Do you guys have any questions on use cases for flows? All right. So yeah, again, when thinking about flows, very important to get these. These are the first things we ask you to set up and get going in the account. And then I guess I'd love to cover any more product questions. The only other things I'd like to cover specifically is just under analytics. This year, we launched a new custom reports tool. So you guys can build custom reports in Klaviyo on different types of metrics. So you can just do a deep dive into a single metric, multi-metric reports, or campaigns, flows, product performance, and just understand how things are working well in your account here and so on. So definitely utilize these different types of reports with your clients, just so you can get deeper level insights on what's working. It's also nice that you can export this data into CSV files and put it into any other reporting tools or any other analytical tools that you guys are using. This is a relatively new tool, so definitely a lot of customers don't have too much experience with it. Again, another area where we want our agency partners to learn how to use this well, as you guys are at the beginning edge of like our product adoptions and so on. But a good one to get going with here. In addition to that, under analytics, what's being launched in Q1 2021 is benchmarks. So you guys will now be able to see in-app benchmarks and see what percentile you guys are in compared to your peer group. So if you are in that automotive industry, you can see how your open rates, how your click rates are comparatively to other customers on Klaviyo in that same industry, or if it's fashion and apparel, food and beverage, and so on. And so this gives you another tool to show your customers, A, how you're adding value to their brand, their email marketing strategy, and B, give you a gauge of how you're performing with your email as well. In terms of partner-specific things that I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of and that you have access to, if we take a look at our partner portal, Michael, I'm logged in under you here. But if you look at enablement assets, we have a lot of content in here for you to kickstart what you guys are doing. So if you need like a one-pager on how we differ from MailChimp, right? Battle cards against our competitors, OmniSend, Iterable, ListTrack, whatever it is, or how we integrate with Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, a direct integration, whatever that may be. You can download those from here. You can also get things like pitch decks, product roadmaps. And then the other two things I'd like to show you are the growth review generator and the guides and playbooks. So the growth review generator is a reporting tool that lives outside of our platform. It is specifically for agency partners. And so for any accounts that you guys manage and have submitted as managed customers in the partner portal, you can generate a clean and great looking Google slide presentation of all the KPIs on their account. And so all you need to do is go to klaviyo.com/partners-QGR, and you guys will be able to generate these for your managed customers. These are existing customers that are on upgraded plans on Klaviyo. What this looks like is that it'll generate a report that looks like this for your business, right? So it will show you your total business revenue, how you grew either month over month, quarter over quarter, whatever you choose it to be, your total percentage of owned revenue, so the stuff that you're generating via Klaviyo, and how you're growing from there and what percentage of your business is doing that for. And then it gives you a bunch of nice charts and graphs that you can go through with your client. And again, demonstrate to them, hey, since we started managing your email account, you've been able to grow your email revenue by 10, 20%, 30% month over month, quarter over quarter. And that's attributed to the work we're doing. In addition to that, we'll show you all your KPIs, right? So things like revenue, open rates, click rates, unique opens, conversion rates, revenue per recipient, and average order value. All really important things that like the CEO or the founder of a brand will want to see and make sure that they're getting that type of performance out of their agency and out of the platform. Do you folks have any questions on this reporting tool, how to use it, when it's best to bring it up with your clients? All right, and then continuing to look at enablement assets here, we have the guides and playbook section. This is really designed to help make sure that you guys are setting up your clients using Klaviyo's best practices. So we have getting started guides and checklists for your agency, then guides on how to successfully onboard a customer to Klaviyo, as well as a really detailed checklist. And so you can download this from the partner portal. But what this checklist looks like is this Google Sheet here. It gives you step-by-step instructions on how to integrate Klaviyo with all of our e-commerce platform partners, all of the help center guides and links that you'll need to do each individual step, as well as like how to integrate Facebook ad, those other tech vendors that we talked about, migrate from MailChimp, and so on. In addition to that, it goes through how to build listen segments, email templates, and flows. And so anytime you're getting started with a client on Klaviyo, we want you guys to make sure that you have a profitable service around this. Our onboarding team and our sales team can help you guys with this, but we want our agency partners to generate revenue. So we want to give you the tools to be able to do it yourselves and make sure that you're setting up accounts with best practices and getting started with the right off on the right foot there. So that's why we give you access to this. And there's plenty of content in the portal and in our training to help you guys go along with that as well. All right, and then essentially that was the content I wanted to cover with you guys. I wanted you guys to learn a bit more about, why Klaviyo was founded, the types of customers we help, and how we do so. And then, of course, see the platform in a bit more detail. We still have 15 minutes left here, so I'm happy to discuss either like what you learned, what you found interesting, or any specific questions about how to like position to the client or where it's a good fit. If you guys have anything there.
I just wanted to give a few comments from going through the training. I just wanted to kind of share my experience kind of with everyone else here. But a lot of it you kind of showed through the presentation. I just want to reiterate, like with the pop-up demo you showed, it was like really easy to kind of put together. And I also saw through the different tutorials that for like the putting together like an email is also very user-friendly, and they have some templates to use. Overall, just, from my experience with it, the whole dashboard is very user-friendly. And I think the question I always ask myself is, what can't this, dashboard do, and what can't Klaviyo do? Because I feel like there's so much flexibility in the different flows, and the ability to kind of segment. Like, I thought it was very interesting, like having this concept of like a VIP segment. So the people who really do, give you the most revenue or the most successful with your website, and kind of creating a separate, marketing campaign or strategy towards them to kind of get the most out of that value. So just from my personal experience of going through it, I can just say that this seems like a really great platform to use. And I think a lot of our clients could really benefit from using this.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that, Ashley.
I had a question as well, because I was looking into the analytic part of this on your site as far as features. which looks really great. There's a lot of information you can get, like it said, average time between orders and even smart send time. So are those metrics based off of what you gather in your email campaigns, or is it more based on industry? How do you go about like getting those analytics is what I'm looking at?
Yeah, good question. So our data science team built out these features. And so what they're doing is that they look across all of our customers, and that's how they decide how to build those algorithms and how to make, accurate predictions. And then it runs specifically for your data coming from your e-commerce platform, mostly based on your purchase history. So things like average order value, obviously pretty straightforward, but predicted churn and expected date of next order. We're looking at all of your customers that have placed orders in the past, the average time between those orders, and then making predictions on when we expect them to buy again. Same things with like predictive churn and so on. So that's all your data that we're running on it and crunching the numbers there. For smart send time, that's actually like a test that you'll run in your Klaviyo account. So when you're sending campaigns via Klaviyo, you can choose the option to do smart send time. And we're going to have to test out a couple campaigns to find the optimal time to send your emails for the best open rates. So what we'll do is we'll send a batch of emails to your subscribers every 4 hours. And some people may be like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would I send an email to someone at midnight or 4 a.m.? The reason being is that we got to test it to see what works. And then we'll be able to give you like a test run back on that. But essentially all the tests, all the data, all the predictive features that we do in the platform is based off of your own data. The way we've been able to set that up is by understanding all of our customers at the macro level so we can give it to the individual accounts.
Awesome. I appreciate the clarification there and the details.
Yeah, certainly. All right. Anything else that you guys wanted to cover here today?
I think that wraps it up for us. Dan, thank you so much for the time, for showing us this great platform. Just to finalize things, if we have a client interested in Klaviyo, separate from signing them up and submitting them, as a referral, could we toss them to, someone from Klaviyo for a 3-way call or to brainstorm some ideas? Would that be you? Would that be someone else? What would be the best, path for an email, leading to a discovery call?
Yeah, always. So anytime you register a lead or anytime someone creates an account using your referral link, that goes straight to my desk. And then I'll reach out to you to see how you want to go about getting started. I always want to loop in a member of our sales team because they're able to make sure they answer all your questions, explain the value of Klaviyo, and understand that we're signing up a good customer, right? Like we don't want people buying the platform that aren't a good fit because we don't want customers to churn. So every time you guys have a client you want to get started with, we can always loop in a sales rep to facilitate like a demo with you and the client. And of course, we just want to make sure you guys own that opportunity, right? So we do it to your discretion. The way our sales team is broken up is by e-commerce platform. So we have Shopify account executives, WooCommerce, and BigCommerce. And so whatever that client is coming from, we'll make sure you get looped in with the corresponding rep from there.
Awesome. Good to know. Okay, Dan, I think that's it for us today. Again, thank you so much for doing this for our team. We learned a lot and hope to be sending business your way shortly.
Perfect. Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you all. Thank you so much for your time and have a happy holidays.
Thanks, Dan. Happy holidays.
Take care.
Thanks, you too.